Hi guys, welcome to Dividend at 40. I'm David and this is my portfolio review for September 2025. Before we jump into the video guys, if I could just ask anyone that is enjoying these videos to pop a like or subscribe, that would be great. Now this is my second portfolio review, but it's kind of going to be like a first review again because I've made a lot of changes in the last month. There's a number of things that I have dropped from the portfolio, some slight additions to the portfolio, and then as far as the income pie goes, some pretty drastic changes. I have taken out a lot of the ETFs I had before, so the iShares, UK Dividend, the Euro Dividend, and the Morningstar Developed Markets Dividend Leaders. Most of the single company stocks that I also had, like Legal and General, Lloyd's, Rio Tinto, all of those have gone. Some of these stocks like Taylor Wimpey and B&M I managed to sell while they were in the green because I bought them when they were quite low. Same with Domino's. So luckily making the changes in this month, I've actually done okay with them. But let's have a look at the portfolio. I think most people understand this. This is not financial advice. This is just a random northern lad showing what he's doing, and I'm by no measure a professional when it comes to all of this. Okay, so jumping into Trading 212, you can see here that I have a portfolio total of £3,278.71, which is up £69.25 in the last month. I'm really happy with that. I got quite a bit of that growth prior to changing around some of my portfolio, but I've also seen quite a bit of it since doing so. So the two pies that I have kind of don't have any data in. What I've done is a couple of days ago, I've recreated the pies, or should I say duplicated the pies as they were at the time. And I've then exported everything out and imported into the new one so that this month by month data will make a little bit more sense. Because prior to doing that, this chart was all over the place as I was selling some stocks and adding some more stocks in, and just lots of chopping and changing. But I'm now, I think, at a point where I'm happy with what I've got, and now with the new pie means as I progress month by month, I can compare where I was at previous months and really analyze it. So we'll start off with this income pie. Now this is my risky income pie, and what I've got in here is quite a few of these income shares stocks. Now I've seen a few people really looking at these. I've watched the interviews where they've talked about their new strategy, and I've done quite a bit of research into it, and I think it's something that will really help my portfolio. It is a bit risky, but I do think that there's some real potential in there to increase my dividend revenue with the high yield that they have, so that I can be investing more in the next few months as I'm building up the portfolio. So the first stock that we've got in here is JGGI. It's currently a little bit down. This is one of the only ones I think that I've held for multiple months, so that's why it looks like it's gone up, because it was actually quite far down last month. I do have 78 shares in there, and I have an average price of 573.3. Now this is one of the stocks I'm a bit unsure about. My thinking is that some of the other things within this pie might actually be better just because of the yield on this. So I'm a bit unsure about this. So this is one that I may change going forward. And what I'm thinking about doing is probably putting more into the rest of the things in this pie, potentially splitting it equally, or finding something where I put maybe a higher percentage into this one, which is my JEQP. Now this is again up quite a bit in the last month, but it's not something I've massively capitalized on this month because of how late I bought into it. I think over the long term it's going to bring me a better income. So in here I have 17 shares and my average price is 1917.5. So the next one is the income shares Broadcom. Now this has dropped quite a bit since I bought into it, but it's obviously doing quite well month on month. So I own 8.3 shares in this, and my average price is 3600.2. The next one is the Coinbase. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of growth on here. It's up £10 this month, and I've got 93 shares, and my average price is 318.3. Next, we have the Magnificent Seven. So this is again down a little bit at this point. I do have 8.7 shares and an average price of 3367.9. Next, we have the Income Shares Palantir. And this one again is a little bit up, but as is the case with most of these, I'm actually kind of just hoping for almost stable. I mean, if I get growth is great, but if I don't get growth and it just maintains, the great dividends from it, I think more than make up for that. This is one where I've got 9.17 shares, and my average price at this point is 3228.9. Next, we have the Tesla. So this is another one that's also gained this month as well, and we've got 62.9 shares in that, an average price of 455.2. Again, another great yield. I'm expecting great things from these. This pie as a whole will just concentrate on reinvesting its dividends, building that income up. And over the next few months, I'm going to keep an eye on the income shares. I'm going to look at what their new strategy really comes out at. But like I said, I also think it's going great. So my next pie is the long-term growth pie. So again, I've had some movement with this and changed some stuff around. I did have the FTSE All World by Investco, and I had a few other things. I have since changed that, and again, like the other one, so that I can record it month on month, what I've done is duplicated the pie and then moved the investments out of one into the other, so that I'm kind of starting afresh with the items that's in this pie. So starting in here, the main holding in here is the S&P 500. Because I've got quite a bit of growth in there. I have got 5.8 shares with an average price of 91.1572. I think it's just a great thing to have. Obviously, lots of people all using that. This is one of the new ones that I've added this month. It was something that I was really interested in getting involved in my lifetime ISA. However, my lifetime ISA is with AJ Bell, and you can only buy full shares. There's no fractional shares, and it's it's a bit too much to buy a share in this. So we've added it to this portfolio, and again, I think it will benefit me in the long run. I've got 0.92 shares, and my average price is 44459.450. Now, the next few that I've got, I've basically been looking for something that I feel is a bit more of a spread. What I previously had was shares in Microsoft and Google and Meta, because they paid a small dividend and they were companies that I knew, and I mean, they're great companies. I still believe in them, but they are kind of covered by the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 100. So what I wanted to do was kind of diversify a little bit, because what I had was a number of different ETFs, and those ETFs were made up a big chunk of those same companies that I had. So what I decided to do was do some research into some other ETFs, and the ones that I've sort of decided on is this semiconductors and the ARC, artificial intelligence and robotics, as well as this Vanek defense as well. So starting with ARC, I have 10.5 shares in there, and I have an average of 760.8. Again, it's not massively up, but I do think it will continue to go up. Some of these I've only owned for a few days as well. Some of them I got quite involved with them towards the end of the month. Next, we've got the iShares Global Semiconductors. We have 11.2 shares in this, and we've got an average price of 7.114. And then this defense is one that I've just really liked. We've got 1.69 shares, an average price of 46.298. This, again, it was just to try and diversify me a little bit. Like I said, I had a lot of the same things. And then because I have dropped the all world, I then decided that I will put a small portion into the emerging markets as well. So we've got the FTSE emerging markets here, where we've got 1.4 shares and an average price of 53.02. And again, that's showing some great growth. Now, as we can see, this growth pie, everything is green, which feels really good in a month where I've kind of only just started with some of these. What I had in my very first month when I started my first growth pie is some of them, because I bought into them and then they dropped, I actually had a lot of reds in the first month. So this feels like I mean, it's nothing that I've really decided to do based on like something scientific. It's just luck that at the time that I chose to buy into some of these, they were obviously a bit lower. And we've made some good gains from things like Alphabet, where up about £25 or something, and Meta and a few of the others, I was actually up quite a bit. So when I did sell some of those, it was actually quite beneficial. So then we can have a quick look at the assets here. So it's quite a few of these red, but I did have a couple of days this week where absolutely every one of those was bright green. So that felt really good. And then looking at my totals, you can see I've got about 16%. The S&P 500, global growth was about 13%. And then a lot of these are sort of between high eights and mid nines. And then a few of these smaller ones that about 2.5% ish. My plan going forward is to increase what I have in my long-term growth pie. I want that to be more like 40% of my portfolio. It's just the way that I've sort of set it up to begin with means that the income pie has more in it than I was really planning. So the next couple of months, I think, will be mostly going into the growth pie to sort of build that back up to probably 40%. That covers the portfolio for September 2025. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't dropped a like, please drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts, even if it's just to tell me I am risking everything with the income shares. I'm more than happy to have a chat with people and take on people's opinions. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you next time.